Welcome to another episode of Tech Talk Radio. I'm Andy Taylor.
I'm Shawn DeWeird.
And I'm Justin Lemmy.
Man, it's been a really fast week. A lot happened this week.
I
And
feel like we were just here like yesterday or something.
right? It kind of
This week blew by, and I had so much going on at work with the new president of the university getting inaugurated. It just was absolute chaos for us.
Oh, wait, so you're getting a new president. We're getting a new one here at the University of Arizona as well. They're making a big change in the hierarchy. So you're doing
it's a lot of work.
right. Now, what kind of stuff do you do that ties to that? Is it like announcements, video throughout the school? How does that work?
Yeah, so there was some announcements we covered. Like they had a gala event for him, so it was like a big party that they did a big speech for it. He did the speech on the main steps of the main building, and a procession across campus, and then they did a mass, and then he had his actual like inauguration event. So I think we did like 5 live events for him over
Wow.
the course of 3 days.
Right.
Oh, wow.
Now, has he been at campus with like in a different position?
Yeah, he's been
What up?
teaching. He's been teaching here on campus.
That's pretty prestigious, though, to be the president of Notre Dame. I mean, that's
I
huge.
think
How
he's
does-
the 17th president? It's not like the Pope or anything like that, right? It's like,
So how does one just go from being like a professor to like the president of the university?
Yeah. What do you have to do?
yeah, I don't know. There was a lot involved. I know it was a lengthy search, a worldwide search, basically.
Yeah.
And they found him right there at home.
Yeah.
I'll tell you a funny story about I had to introduce our guy who is Robert Robbins.
Total radio name.
Yeah, I couldn't remember. Yeah, it does. It's like the Robbins brothers. But I couldn't remember it exact, and I had to introduce him at a big event they were doing at the University of Arizona. Well, the guy that got me and Barry, my former morning show partner, a gig in across town at a different radio station was the guy that you may remember as Charlie Brown, Peter Robbins. And he was the voice of a Charlie Brown. He's no longer with us. He passed away. He had a lot of issues. He had some, I mean, he did some jail time. He did some stuff like that. But before all of that happened, back before 2000, it was Peter Robbins. So I'm introducing this coach, not coach, but the president of the U of A, Mr. Robbins, and I introduced him as Peter Robbins. And I remember he kind of gave me a look, and I didn't even realize what I did. And I'm thinking, I just introduced him as Charlie Brown. That's
Oh, no.
Wah, wah.
so. The good news, though, for you, Shawn, is even with this, the president, there was a game. They were playing Purdue. There was a win.
66-7.
Woo-wee.
Wow, that's huge.
See, I'm a Notre Dame fan, so I was happy about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was not expected that we would beat them by that much. I think there was an expectation that we would beat them, but I mean, I think in the first 6 or 7 minutes of the game, we were up like 18 or something. It was crazy. Like, and then it just kept going. And
They kind of gave up.
Yeah.
I
And
mean,
then I don't know if you saw like the wide shots of the stadium, but like it was all Notre Dame fans at the end. There was there was like hardly any Purdue fans there at all.
of course not. Why
That's
would
awesome.
they be? They probably
right.
left at the half.
The follow up on last week, we talked a lot of stuff about Pixel. There's been some stuff going on with that. We'll tell you about in a little bit. But Justin was going to go for his second gig as a DJ. And you did. How did it go? What was the gig like?
Yeah, no, it was really good. It was called Park Fest, and it was like the last of like the summer concert series put on by the Parks and Rec district that I work for. And I volunteered my time to just go out there and have some fun. I mean, honestly, I did it because it's fun for me. But yeah, I went out there. It was interesting because I was supposed to go on at 5 to 6.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know if it was the band that was late or if it was the sound company that was late, or I don't know what it was, but they were doing like sound check until like almost 5:30. And
Right.
I'm just kind of standing there like, come on, like this is my time. Like I want to play. Cause I mean, I had the whole thing ready to go. I had all the songs picked out, everything ready to go. And they got done with their sound check and I was able to finally play. And once I started playing the band, which happened to be like they're a pretty well-known band in the Colorado scene.
Okay.
5280s band, because it's, 5280, the altitude of Denver, 5280, but
Oh,
they're 80s band, so it's 5280s.
oh, that's clever. I like it.
I mean, it came down to it. I just had a lot of fun, and people enjoyed it. People said I did a great job, and I appreciated that. And yeah, that was about it. But I really liked it.
You should be thankful of one thing, that the band that was playing that night was 5280s. Great,
Mhm.
great name, and wasn't Jane's Addiction.
Oh gosh, yeah, I saw
Oh
that.
yeah.
Perry Farrell, man, that dude is
Wow.
just that guy has gone off the deep end.
I've always liked Dave Navarro. I've always,
Mhm.
as a musician, and for those that don't know what we're talking about, Jane's Addiction is a band that's been around for a long time. Been Caught Stealing, one of the big songs, that crossed over, but they've had a good following. They were doing a show, and Perry Farrell, who's, I guess, would he be the lead vocalist?
Yeah,
You
he's the lead singer,
Yeah,
front man.
and Dave Navarro, all of a sudden, I don't know what it was. He just attacked them while they were performing.
So what they were saying on the Reddits
Right.
was that Perry was coming off of having like laryngitis,
Mhm.
and his voice didn't sound great. So they were basically drowning out his
Ah,
voice.
so
And
they're
he
playing
got,
too loud.
yeah, they were
Yeah.
playing too loud. He was getting frustrated with them. And then he took it out on Dave Navarro and tried to throw a punch. They said he punched him, but if you
Eh,
look at it, he kind of like shoved him off of him.
more
Like
like
he didn't,
shoving. Yeah.
yeah, he didn't really. But anyway, they stopped the concert immediately, and they canceled a couple extra events and stuff because of it. But yeah, that's just, come on, man. You guys go way back. How can you do that?
Uncomfortable.
Oh,
That was just
totally.
so uncomfortable to watch. But again, you can see the video for that up on the YouTube. Now, Shawn, I don't want to upset you too much, Shawn, but I got to show you that I did something. I did something. After we talked on last week's show, I decided I would go ahead and bite the bullet. And I went ahead and I got the Google Pixel 9 XL.
Yay!
I wanted to try it out.
Welcome to the dark side.
I went to Best Buy. This guy was like $1,200, and I was like, oh gosh, what if I don't like it? What if I'm not going to be used to it? And I asked him. I said, how long do I have to decide? Right now, normally I could pick up the phone and I could call my reps at Verizon and say, hey man, could you send me? And I just decided, no, I'm not going to wait. I wanted to show this on TV after we had been talking about it. So I went ahead and bit the bullet. They told me I have 15 days. What I'll pay is a $45 fee if that's the case, which is what the fee that they use.
Restocking fee or
Yeah, I
whatever.
guess that's what it'll be. And then I can, I still have my original, iPhone 14 Pro Max, and which I'm using with the Wi-Fi for all the apps, my games, everything transferred over, and that was kind of cool. It was a very easy experience, although it was really strange, Justin, because on the iPhone I'm using an eSIM. There's two eSIMs I guess you could use for that, but on the Google Pixel they actually put a physical SIM card in the device, saying that Verizon's been having an issue. And this is a Verizon rep at Best Buy with SIMs and people getting charged twice, and so they're putting an actual physical SIM in that. And you're
I
saying you do have eSIMs.
They do. As a matter of fact, yes, they absolutely do. According, I know for a fact I have the Pixel 9 Fold, which is one step up from the Pixel 9 XL. I do not have a physical SIM in my car in my phone.
Hmm.
Neither did I have a physical SIM in my Pixel 8 Pro. And according to AndroidAuthority.com, right now, all Pixel 9 devices have dual SIM support, and they have the eSIM. So I honestly, I'm sorry to say this, Andy. I think you got ripped off by the guy, the Verizon rep. He basically sold you something that you did not need.
$10 is what
Yeah,
that
well,
costs, but still, yeah.
yeah, you don't need it. They have the capability of doing an eSIM.
So really, if I do end up taking it back, it's going to be $45 plus the $10 that I bought,
Mhm.
because basically it's going to do nothing for me,
Yeah.
and I don't want to leave it
So
in
so I'm the only blue bubble now
Yep.
in the group
right now. Yeah.
chat.
Well,
Yep.
okay. So we have to remember though, earlier this week on Monday, iOS 18 came out with RCS support, which means that you're going to have better messaging capabilities on the big ones. That's AT&T, Verizon, and who's the other guy that's out there? T-Mobile.
T-Mobile, yeah.
So to be able to
Wait,
send messages back and forth.
wait, are you saying iOS 18 that for Apple that just came out
It just came out. RCS
finally
enabled.
supports RCS?
Finally. Now,
So
I do not have iOS 18 yet.
Yeah, it's carrier supported, so it's going to be up to the carriers to carry it. Mint Mobile doesn't carry it yet. Google Fi does not carry it yet. So just those three big ones. What do you think, Justin?
welcome to 2018.
Oh no, I just the memes that have come out since the last
iOS
Apple event has
18
been
means
hilarious.
2018. I mean, literally, this is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
the memes.
How many times have you gotten a video from somebody that is sent from an Android device and you're on an iPhone and it just looks awful?
Well, it's the exact opposite for me because I've been on Android for a long time. But yeah, people send me a video from an Apple to an Android. Yeah, and it looks horrible.
Yeah.
But the thing is, you got to understand, RCS is the industry standard. Apple is the one who refuses to do it. And they were basically forced to do it. That's why they finally did it. Whereas everybody else in the world was using RCS.
Well, but now it's up to the carriers. Now it's up to Google Fi and it's up to the others to say, okay, let's let this happen. And now I haven't been able to test it yet. Even though I put iOS 18 this morning on my iPhone, I don't have the ability to really test
you should be able to message via Wi-Fi.
I think I can because I have gotten messages on it.
Yeah, you should be able to do it Wi-Fi messaging.
I really want to do it. I can't send it to myself. This house is it's basically an Apple, an iPhone, Blue Bubble house.
Yeah, well, you're slowly converting.
There, John.
You're slowly converting. But as Shawn mentioned there just a couple seconds ago about these memes that have come out, I sent you guys. It's a meme, but it honestly really isn't a meme. It was literally a side-by-side comparison of the Apple iPhone 16 Pro, right, versus the 2018 model of a Samsung Galaxy S24. I want to say it was, or whatever, 23 or something like that. It was from 2018. The specs from 2018 on the Samsung were as good, if not better, than the most current 2024 iPhone. This is just getting ridiculous that Apple sits there and touts all these new quote unquote features and all this great stuff about their phones when they're literally 6 years old.
Yeah. But I will say something, though. I will say, I am not used to the interface. And it's gotten me to the point where I've been like, yeah, I'm going to take this back. So here's the deal with the Pixel, right? And I've got it transferred all my apps. The only one that it did not do with all my data that was a part of it is Royal Match, the game that I play every day. I'm up on level 6,100.
Well, Royal Match is one of those Supercell games, right?
Yes.
So all you got to do is sign up for your Supercell ID, which is built into the app itself. So go to your old phone, sign into your and then you sign into your Supercell ID on the new phone, and it will transfer all your stuff over.
Okay, but all right, that's good to know. That's the only one that didn't work.
Yeah.
You do have to go through processes with each one, like log in. That's fine. I understand that.
Speaking of processes, if you do use two-factor authentication, like let's say Google Authenticator or Microsoft Duo or Microsoft Authenticator or even Duo, you need to make sure not to factory reset your old device until you have transferred over the two-factor authentication to the new phone. I made that mistake when I went from a Pixel 7 to a Pixel 8. I had factory reset the Pixel 7, and then I had to reset up all of my two factors manually by contacting support for all these websites that had two-factor on them because I lost access to the phone. If you do it the right way, all you have to do is simply scan a QR code from your old phone onto your new phone, and it will just transfer over all your two factors over to that new device. But if you don't do it, oh man, you're in for a world of hurt.
Well, one of the things, though, I noticed when it transferred all the apps, there is you just scroll up, just app after app after app. I got a lot of apps. Now, on the iPhone, it's pretty nice because I open it up and then I could scroll left, and go, okay, there's the page with my internet-based apps. keep going. There's my food.
Well,
app.
you could do
There,
that
if
with
you keep
Android. You just
going,
got to sort them out.
there's my video apps. With the Android, I notice I can create those, so I can go left, and there's a page with restaurants. There's a page with, video apps. There's a page with your utilities. However, it still leaves all of the apps when you scroll up. They don't like
I
suddenly move into that.
I never use that scroll page on an Android. I have everything that I need laid out on my, I guess you would call it your desktop,
Right.
right? Because that's kind of what it is. It's like your desktop. I have folders. It's just like the iOS, the containers that I put my apps in. So I have a container for work. I have a container for shopping, a container for TV, a container for finance, and all those apps are in that container. So it just takes a little bit of just organizing your apps. But yeah, that scroll thing that you talked about, where all
Oh,
your apps,
yeah.
I never use that.
You know what also kind of ticked me off when I was going through it, and you talk about you got the containers, the whole bit, is the AI, which I really was looking forward to testing out. Now,
Gemini.
the Gemini, the add me feature in a photo is kind of cool. I might use that, once in a while. That was neat. But the Gemini reimagining that you did with the gentleman sitting in the chair and then it put him on the beach, I thought it was cool. I was kept trying and trying. I think I even sent you a text going, "This is driving me nuts." And then it was when I realized you draw around the person and that will be the replacement background for it.
Yeah.
I kind of thought it was all done audio wise. And I was
Mm.
like, okay, that's not that way. You can prompt it via audio. And then, like, okay, I got a little fed up with Siri when you would say, something and it would like not respond or say, I can't tell
Hmm.
you that or blah, blah, blah. With the Google Gemini, it can't shut him up. He'll go on. I asked him, I said, "Can you tell me about music of the generation that was born in the 40s? What music do they like today?" Right? And he went on for like 15 minutes. I was like,
No
"Oh,
way.
well, okay, maybe 10." Either way, it was a long time. I was
Seriously?
like, "Dude, please be quiet." Just
I've
give me a
never had a response more than like 10 seconds.
Oh, no, 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 dude, this was long. I was like, wow. So I don't know what I did, what I've brought out in this voice, but it was like, yeah, it was a little irritating. So I
Wow.
don't know. Like I said, maybe I'll have to get used to that. I
Well,
don't
I
know.
I can just tell you, I can tell you right now, the most recent experience I've had with, going from an iPhone to Android was with my wife. And now my wife is not a technical person. She had an iPhone for many, many years. And then it was about what, 3 years ago now, maybe I think it was about 3 years ago. I forcefully switched her to an Android. I said, no, we're not keeping Apple in this house. You are going to go Android. She's like, I don't want Android. I said, too bad. You're going to get an Android. It took her about 3 months to kind of just get used to the daily flow of it. But she would kind of rearrange her icons and, do things but now I asked her, would you ever go back to an iPhone? She says, absolutely not.
Really?
Android is miles ahead of iPhone. She's like, I love this phone.
I just like the way it's laid out on the iPhone. That's going to be a hard adjustment for me. Sean, I know you would probably have the same issues.
Probably. I mean, I'm very particular about the way I have things laid out on my phone. Like, I don't have any rogue icons. They're all just in folders and it's
Right?
all grouped. And
Mm-hmm. As
I'm
it
just
should
used
be.
to the way I've got things filtered and set up. And I've had an iPhone since
The first. Yeah.
2009.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So, I mean, it's kind of what I know.
sure.
Now, I've had Android phones before, right? When I worked for Tribune, I had an Android phone that was my work phone. So I've used Android and I see the benefits and I understand that they are light years ahead of Apple in certain things. But for me and my family, it makes sense to stay Apple,
Right.
right?
Sure.
Because the I would say 90% of my family are on Apple devices, meaning FaceTiming is easier right now. Granted, now with iOS 17, you can add non-Apple people into FaceTimes.
Right.
Um, it's easier to share photos. It's easier to share across my MacBook, my iMac, my iPads, my mom's iPads, right? It from a ease of use for other people in my family to get and receive media of my children.
Mm-hmm.
So I can quickly just send photos and videos to my parents, other people, you know, and it's all through iCloud. That's what makes it. That's what makes me stay with Apple, right?
Sure, I can understand that.
Technologically, I would go to Android, right? I just can't leave that environment of how easy things are for me and my family to share things that we want.
Gloria,
Granted,
yeah, fair
granted,
enough,
my brothers don't have iOS, don't have Apple devices,
right?
but it's my parents, Caitlin's parents. Well, Caitlin's parents have Android too, but the majority of the people that I share media with, friends and family, most of them have Apple devices.
Gloria said something to me though that made me go, well, wait a minute, because she said, well, if you take the Pixel 9 XL back, because maybe you're just not adjusted to it, she said, why don't you get a Mac, and then your iPhone will coordinate with the Mac. And then I thought to myself, wait a minute, she's telling me I could buy a Mac? Really?
dude. Go now. Go now. Don't question it. Don't question it. Just do it.
You know, I will say, like, when Apple, to kind of segue a little bit into the computer side of Apple, right?
Right.
Apple jumping to their own silicon with the M chips, right, was a huge risk for them, but it has paid dividends, right? Their multimedia side of their Apple silicon with the M2, the M3, and you know they're probably going to announce the M4 here pretty soon, right? They are leaps and bounds ahead of Intel and AMD in terms of like media production. They're I'm trying to think of the right words for that, but what they're doing in the media world is light years ahead of AMD and Intel, and they have a foothold on that industry right now. And you can't get if you wanted to spend $600, you can get a Mac Mini with an M2 chip in it.
Mm-hmm.
And for that price, you have a really good multimedia platform, like a good multimedia platform. Like you can use it to use Premiere, you can use it Lightroom, you have all these Adobe apps that you could use, Final Cut, those types of things, and it's a workhorse for $600. So unless you're looking at using Premiere on a home built system, or you're looking at using a higher end AMD or an Intel processor, right? You're gonna get more bang for your buck with lower end M2 or M3 chips in the Mac Minis than you are for a home built PC.
Okay. All right, we got to take a quick break. We come back. I know you got another thought, Justin. We'll share that when we come back with more of Tech Talk Radio. I'm Andy Taylor.
I'm Shawn DeWeird.
And I'm Justin Lemmy. Find us on the web at techtalkradio.com. We'll be right back. Now, before the break, Shawn was talking about the benefits of the Mac Mini, bang for your buck, $600-700 to kind of get an entry into Apple. Shawn, I'm not going to argue with that by any means, because you are absolutely correct with that. However, I believe that's kind of how Apple wants you to get hooked. It's like getting a taste.
Oh, for sure. I'm not going to argue that either.
It's getting a taste of it. And then once you're hooked, now you're going to start going for their Mac Pros, their MacBooks, because first off, Mac Mini, it's a desktop, right? People don't want desktops anymore. They want things on the go. They want to be able to take it wherever they want. How are they going to do that? You can't do that with a Mac Mini. You're going to have to go with a MacBook Pro. Those things, the price on MacBook Pros is insane for what you get. You could easily get a PC for half the price that can do just as much as a Mac can.
Or a really good, like, high-end gaming laptop.
Yeah. And I do understand, and going back to our days, back in TV industry, Shawn, Mac was everywhere when it came to that industry. Video editing, audio editing, everything was Mac. They have been losing their foothold, as you say, for the last 10, 12 years now. That they are not, the Adobe Premiere and all the Adobe products, they are putting more into their PC platforms than they are the Mac anymore because more and more people, obviously, first off, use PC, and Apple just, again, really hasn't innovated. They don't update. Every time they release a new MacBook or a new iPhone or whatever, it is the same hardware. And
Do you think
so,
we're going to see Apple Intelligence built into MacBooks, and desktops from
Well, you're going to see
Apple?
it built into all of their pieces and parts, right? So like you're going to see generative AI come to Final Cut. You're going to see generative AI come to Keynote.
well,
You're going to
it
see
came to
generative
Adobe
AI.
already. Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Photoshop and
so I
everything.
mean, they have to compete with that, right? They have to compete with that because it's already in Premiere, also, right?
Yeah.
I can just go in and say, "Hey, make this cut for me," and it'll do it.
Yeah, but
Um,
we're not going to see Apple intelligence, which is what they want everybody to call it. It's just AI, artificial intelligence. We're not going to see that until like 2028. I mean, the way
You
Apple
don't think
goes.
so?
No, dude, the way Apple is,
Well,
like they're like 6 years behind everybody else.
there was word that yesterday the iPhone 16s are available, and there was word that people who had the iPhone 15 may be able to see, and we don't know yet what the outcome, because I have the 14, so I have no way of checking. May have been able to experience some of Apple Intelligence, even though it's not officially going to be available till the fall, because they're
Mm.
still working on it. But apparently, there were some devices that may be able to experience some of that. Yeah, I'll tell you what I think would be great, and we talked about this last week. Opus Clips and the other services that are out there that will take your audio, your video, your photos, and use AI to create multimedia presentations, which I love. When we see Adobe utilizing that same technology and
Mhm.
making it as a part of their platform, that I think that might be even better for some of those companies, Sony, Adobe, any of those companies that are helping you to create multimedia, or even Apple, to be able to do that. Because
Yeah.
now you go to the third party for it, they do a great job at it, and I love it. But that is going to change things.
Mhm.
And that's,
Yep.
again, all AI driven. And
Yep.
there's people out there that honestly, they don't care about the AI. They really don't.
I
They
you
mean,
know, it's grown on me a little bit, right? I got invited to the Notre Dame ChatGPT test bed, so I've been using it
hmm.
for things at work, um, and it's beneficial.
Mhm.
I've been using it to generate, and I'll share this with you. I've been recording audio of my D&D sessions, and I have been
Mhm.
using it I get a transcription made of the audio into a text file. I put it into ChatGPT and say, narrate this for me in a short story format.
Oh, wow.
And
And it created a
it's
story.
been awesome,
That is pretty cool. I
right?
never thought you could. Wow.
It's been pretty cool. So I'll share that with you. We can put it on the blog and stuff. And the other things I've been using it for is doing some coding. Right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I've
There are
used it for
things
coding.
that we can do at work with we have ROS Acuity switchers for
Mhm.
our video production switchers, and there are things called custom controls that you can code to do functions like
Does it have its own
cut this camera. It has its own language called
language?
Rostock.
Okay. Yeah.
So I just was like, I wonder if it knows Rostock. So I just typed in I want you to cut this video on ME4 with a background on ME3 with a 15 frame dissolve and replay transition to this custom control. It spit it out in 2 seconds.
Wow.
Somebody told me that they can take, say, video footage that's 15 seconds long. And unfortunately, they need 20 seconds because they need to fill 5 seconds. They can take it and use AI to recreate that sequence and make it 20 seconds.
Yeah. It'll add like extra frames in or just little
Yeah,
bits in. Yeah.
or just the character itself by adding onto it. I
Might
mean, they can
slow
do
it
some
down a little bit.
pretty that you wouldn't even notice with your
Yeah.
eyes. Some pretty amazing stuff that they are able to do with this now. I mean, we're going to see. I think it's moving so fast, because think about where we were 3 years ago.
Mm.
Didn't hear too much about it, and then all of a sudden it was here, and
Yep.
everybody has their own version of it that they're wanting to tout.
It's the next arms race. It's the next technological arms race. Is
Yeah,
who's going to come out on top with AI?
we
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be just like every other technical war that we've had. Sony versus Xbox, Sony, Xbox, or HD DVD, Blu-ray. Like, who's going to come out on top with the best one? And
Yeah.
that's the popular opinion is going to be is the one that succeeds.
Be very careful about that analogy about, Betamax versus VHS or HDDV versus Blu-ray, because we all know who was the deciding factor on which way they went.
And which, yeah, exactly.
We really can't talk about that on the radio.
What caused VHS to win over Betamax? You can look it up.
Yeah, if you don't
surprised.
know, just look it up.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Speaking of that, we got a question in from Grace in Saurita. Said, I just got myself a new computer and I'm giving my current tower to my granddaughter so she can use it for her schoolwork. She's 13. My new computer, which I got at Walmart, is an all-in-one from HP. Oh, I think I know the one she got. It's just an all-in-one means basically everything is in the screen. So there's no tower or anything like that. She said, I have a few programs on the other computer, a couple of TurboTax years, my Cricket program.
Cricket, yeah.
WordPerfect and Roxio Easy Creator. Is there an easy way to move these to my new computer? The old one ran Windows 10. I guess your new one is running Windows 11.
I would say just go to the websites for each of those programs and just download the installer. Really, I mean, you don't really have physical installation media anymore. So
yeah, so this is a hard question, right? Because there are several ways she can move things. And in my experience with Windows-based computers, moving from one PC to another is not easy.
Yeah.
You want to do fresh installs of everything, right? It just has to do with Windows registers, the way Windows operates on the back end, right? It's such a pain to try to copy a file over and make sure you get all the directory files and all this stuff, right? I will say that Apple does make this very easy to do when you're switching between Apple computers.
God, here we go.
I'm just saying the migration assistant is very easy. But there are options if you're looking at moving like if you're trying to move a large sum of files,
right?
Or pictures, videos, etc. Like Microsoft does offer their OneDrive. You can pay a subscription and get access to OneDrive. You can use the Windows history function to copy and back up things and move it over. But I mean, to be honest, like a clean slate with fresh installations with the most up-to-date versions of the software is probably your best bet.
Here's something I did about a year and a half ago. I had a customer that they had me build a brand new tower. I mean, we built a full on, newest, fastest, 32 gigs of RAM, lots of storage. It was for a graphic shop. The previous computer was a Windows XP machine. However, the reason they had the Windows XP machine is because they had special printers for printing T-shirts, for printing the graphics.
Makes sense.
Ran under Windows XP.
Yep.
To go to something else from the manufacturer, it would have cost a lot of money. There would have been all kinds of things they would have gone through. They already had the artwork, already had it. So I found a program called PC Mover. And PC Mover has a Windows XP to Windows 10 path built into it that you can go ahead and apply for programs, and it will do the whole program to run from Windows XP, put it onto Windows 10 machine, and it will run.
The U.S. military would like to have a word with you, Andy, about that, because they are still running on Windows XP.
They are, aren't they? Yes. Well, they had to look into PC Mover. It was a pretty good program. They sell it everywhere. You get it at Office Depot and whatnot. And it worked really, really well. Now, what I would recommend if you're going to do this, Grace, if you decide to invest in the program to do it, I mean, again, it may be overkill for what you're doing. Like Shawn was saying, you've got WordPerfect,
3 or 4 programs
you could get from their website. TurboTax may be a little different. But I'll tell you, it was pretty amazing how good it worked. But if you want to do it, it's maybe about $70, depending on which version you get. It's a program you use once. That's it. You pay for it, you use it once, and you're done.
All right. Before we get to the next question, let's just check the scoreboard. Apple III, PC 745. That's the current score right there.
You get that math from?
Oh, I've been doing the math for like the last couple years. on every time we talk about it.
every time we bring it up.
Yep.
All right, Shawn, you want to share the next one for us? You see
Yeah,
it?
let me pull
All right.
that up.
All right.
Listener question. Hi, Tech Talkers. I finally did it. I cut the cord and got rid of the Cox cable I had. I have heard
Oh.
you talk about cutting the cord before and will save about $120 a month now.
Wow.
I did keep the high-speed internet and I have a smart TV. What should I use as far as a service to get free? This is a big part.
Yeah.
Free TV
Ooh.
shows. So
Woohoo.
this is for Laura in Tucson. So free. That's the big part here, right? So rack your
Mhm.
brains. Free.
I think people freak
Nothing
out.
in life is free.
Oh no, I disagree.
Okay.
I disagree. I think there's a lot for free that people have no idea that it's for free.
A lot
wait,
of
it's not for
right.
free.
There are a
tell.
lot of apps. There are a lot of apps that tout that they're free, but they're gonna just scrape your data and all that stuff, right? But
Yeah, that's true.
I
That's
think
right.
the more popular ones that are out there are things like Tubi
Fubo,
and
Yeah.
Fubo and Pluto.
Pluto. Yep.
Pluto, I love. Pluto's
There
great.
are so many apps. There is so much content out in the world that you can get for free.
And let's just not forget, if you do have if it's smart TVs, probably it's got its own OS. But if you got a Google TV, like a Google, like a Chromecast TV or the new Google
New one.
4K streamer coming out soon, Google itself has over 150 channels for free built into their OS. No extra apps required.
But are they entertaining? Like I know on Pluto, I could
Oh,
like
yeah,
if I once in a while get in a Fred Mertz mood, and I want to watch. I want to watch
Who?
all of Fred Mertz. You know,
Who?
Fred Mertz. Fred Mertz.
I don't know who that is.
You don't know who Fred and Ethel Mertz were? They
Bro,
were a
I was
power-
born in 81.
They were the power couple of the 50s.
Yeah,
You know?
again, I was born in 81.
He was in his 70s. She was like maybe 35, Ethel Mertz, and they were married. And he owned an apartment building in Manhattan.
What was the show?
You know what he'd be worth now? And then they had their neighbors. He was an entertainer. And he
What
said
was the show?
Babaloo. I love Lucy. Did you not know the Fred?
Oh, okay. Well, okay, fine. Okay, now I get that. All right, I get that.
But if I want to watch I Love Lucy, they have I Love Lucy channel. They have a Dateline channel. So
yeah, Google's got stuff like that. It's same as like Shawn was like Pluto, right?
yeah, they don't have like
TV.
Sewing with Bob, or something like that.
I think I think Google actually has a Bob Ross 24/7 channel.
Okay, that would be good.
The painter, the old with the afro.
Yeah. Oh, I used to love Bob Ross. There's so many choices out there. What about Plex? Is Plex any good anymore? Plex TV?
I wouldn't use Plex for their TV stuff. Their
No.
TV stuff is kind of weak sauce.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's kind of annoying to have it enabled
Yeah.
when you're trying to just use it for your own content.
They've really failed
I've
on
never
that part.
used it.
Yeah. Should've,
With the unlimited, with the lifetime Plex Pass, though, you do get part of their DVR. You can't DVR stuff with your own onto your own hard drives and stuff. So
Now let's keep that in mind for just a moment here. She was talking about free programs, right? One way to get a free program is just simply to get an antenna. Like get yourself an over-the-air antenna. Every single TV, regardless if it's smart or not, still has that little cable input that can be used for an antenna. Just plug your antenna in, go to your TV's TV function and scan, and you will get all of your local channels for free, just the same way you would get it on cable. And it's going to cost you absolutely nothing.
Have you ever been to the antenna aisle of say Walmart? You ever been in?
Yeah.
It can be confusing. Which antenna do you need? What I'd recommend, go in with the app. Like have the app, get the app. You can get the app from RCA, get the app from, even when you're there, you can scan the box for that free app that'll tell you what channels you may be able to get in your area. Go home and actually look, and it'll tell you which antenna to get.
Yeah.
Based on the channels.
What is that website? I think it's called Dish Pointer or Antenna. I can't remember exactly.
Antenna Finder, isn't it?
I think it's Antenna Finder or something like that. But yeah, there are definitely websites out there. You just simply type in your area code and it will tell you where the towers in your area are located, and it will tell you exactly what direction to point your antenna. Now, if your house happens to be facing the opposite direction that the television antennas are, yeah, you may have a little bit of a problem picking up channels. But if you happen to have a line of sight to that, having just a simple window, flat, paper-thin window antenna will work just fine. If not, you might have to step up to like a powered antenna, or if you're like way out in the boonies, yeah, you might have to get one of those super tall, roof-mounted, Yagi antennas, which nobody's going to want to do that, but
The Aggies.
it's an option.
Yeah. All right. So Laura, right away we would say Fubu, Fubu, right? Or
Fubo,
Fubo,
Fubo.
Fubo, Pluto TV. What's the other one that you guys said?
Oh, Pluto.
I already said Pluto.
Oh, wait.
Pluto, Tubi,
Tubi.
Tubi's good.
Fubu,
All right.
Fubo.
Fubo, Fubi.
Fubu is a shoe company.
All right.
I'm sure there's an app called that too.
It probably is. Another break. We'll be back with more of Tech Talk Radio. I'm Andy Taylor.
I'm Shawn DeWeird.
And I'm Justin. Let me find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Tech Talkers. We'll be right back. Now, in the first segment, we were talking about getting a new device and then the possible trade-ins and things like that. I saw this interesting story about this. So there's a guy that got a new phone. I think he was getting the new Pixel 9 and he wanted to get the new Pixel Watch 3. He already had an older Pixel and the Pixel Watch 1. And when he was going to go buy the phone and the watch, the trade-in value of his old phone and his old watch were like $600 and like $250 respectively.
Wow.
But then he didn't pull the trigger on it. He didn't get the stuff for like about a week and a half or 2 weeks after they had launched. When he went back to go do it, now he was noticing that the phone was worth like $150 and the watch was worth like $30.
Wait,
trade-in value.
Why did it go down so much?
Because this is what they do is it's when a new product launches, they want to get as many people to buy that new product as possible. So they pay more for trade-in value, and that money comes out of the marketing budget of that manufacturer. So take, for instance, Google. All of that inflated trade-in value for your device comes out of the marketing budget for Google for that year. And then once they've gotten through all the pre-orders and the hype has died down over the next, week or two, then they actually offer you what your device is actually worth, which in a case of a phone, about $150. In the case of a smartwatch, about $30 to $50. So
Wow.
yeah,
Would you now you turned
I did.
you went ahead and did that, right?
I did.
I have like every I found my old iPod Touch the other day. I mean, I've got every iPhone that I've ever had still.
Oh,
I have an Android.
I don't
that
keep
I
any old
had.
devices. I trade
No?
them in. I trade them in. If I go with it, I mean, when I buy a device, I buy it at launch and I get that inflated value. So I just recently traded in my Pixel 8 Pro for the new Pixel 9 Fold. I think I got $450 for the Pixel 8 Pro, and I also traded my Pixel Watch 1, which I think I got $175 for, but
Mhm.
now it's worth like $30.
Oh man, Shawn, what about you? Because you're like me, don't you keep all of your devices?
Yeah, I sure do.
Yeah, I mean,
I could.
How does
I could
Caitlin
go.
feel
I
about
could go.
that?
She has all her old phones too.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I'm not joking. I still have my I still have my, I don't even remember what the model number is. The OG Nokia brick.
The 6110.
oh my
Yeah,
lord, really?
My brother and I in high school. So this would have been 2002, 2002. We had to share a phone. We shared a cell phone in high school.
I bet that was
It
hard.
was the Nokia brick,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
Like everybody else had.
Yeah.
Then I mean, I still have that. I still have my Motorola Razr. I still have my Altel flip phone. I still have got my LG Sidekick. I've still got my LG Triton. I still got, I still have my original 3G Apple iPhone.
Right?
And then I've still got my 4, my 4S, my 5, my 7 Plus.
Wow.
I still have them all.
No, what
Wow.
should somebody think about though when they have their old device and they say, "Okay, I'm gonna just turn it in." Like earlier we heard from Grace who's given a computer to her granddaughter. What things should you think about? I mean, you've got data that has
Factory
come
reset
through.
it.
That'll take care of it all, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
On a phone. Yeah.
Yeah, on a phone, a factory reset, right? If Grace is going to give her granddaughter her computer, just put a new hard drive in it.
Yeah. Just put a new
Right.
hard drive.
Just take the hard drive out.
I
Like,
mean, that's where we're talking about a computer. Yeah, you don't want
Yeah.
to leave a hard drive in a computer or anything like that. But with a phone or a smartwatch, yeah, just do a factory reset.
And that is not going to be recoverable. It's like a DoD wipe.
well, hold on,
I don't know about that.
hold on, because Apple did have some issues not that long ago with
Oh,
with resets
what
and
was that score again?
right with Apple had an issue about probably 6 months ago where deleted items were not
Yeah.
being the databases weren't properly being, I don't know, whatever, written, so that
Shocker.
after a period of time things would show back up.
No.
So
Wow.
Well, I'm sure that could probably go for both ways anyway. I mean, Android could probably be the same thing, but
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I could see that. Yes, whatever's in the cloud, I mean, it's always going to be there, regardless if you delete it or not. It's going to be in the cloud somewhere.
I did did a test years ago where I bought a flash drive that I found. And anyway, but I buy this flash drive at this used bookstore, and I went ahead and I ran it through the recovery software that I have that is probably some of the best. And it found a bevy of photos, documents, the whole bit that were originally deleted that showed up as lost files, but
Ooh.
you basically had all of that. So you got to think about that. If you're, even getting rid of a flash drive,
Oh,
you
don't ever
want to
do
think about
that.
that.
Just destroy it.
Yeah.
yeah,
Just-
destroy it, hit it with a hammer, break it apart, crack it in
Yeah.
half, whatever, put it in a fire.
Yeah.
You know,
Fire,
I mean,
fire.
you gotta. It's
Okay, Beavis.
people don't. I mean, for the layman's, right? They don't know that data is that recoverable, right? You think I delete it, it's gone.
Right.
Nope.
Those
Just because you hit
zeros,
delete does not-
those zeros and ones are just there until they get written by other zeros and ones.
Right.
Yeah.
And they get written over. If they
So,
have been written over,
yeah.
and even if they've been getting written over, you may find a partial file
Mhm.
there. So again, yeah, you got to be really careful about that. Here's something that Justin has to be careful with. And I was looking forward to this. WCCF Tech did a story about the Google Pixel 9 Pro Fold, which he's very proud of.
Yep.
And you spent what almost well, you got good deals because again, you did it at the right time. But
Yeah.
people are finding that they're spending upwards of $2,000 for this new brand new Pixel Fold phone. If you bend it in the wrong direction,
Yep.
really, it will snap.
Yeah. I mean, okay. Duh. I mean, come on. What kind of story is this?
Right?
Did you know that if you drive a car and you hit a brick wall, it'll actually destroy the car?
Yes. It could,
Oh
or it's
my
part of the wall. Yes.
gosh. I did not know that.
If you fold a real book the wrong way, it'll break the spine.
There you
No. I mean, come on, people. Like, was this written
Yep.
by a bunch of Apple fanboys or something? Like, oh, if
Yeah.
you bend the phone the wrong way, well, no, duh.
So there you go, Justin. Make sure you don't bend your phone the wrong way.
Yeah, okay. I have an IQ a little bit higher than that. Jeez.
All right. One of the great gifts for the holidays has always been the tile. Yeah. And did any of you ever have a tile?
I had one.
No.
I just tossed my tile.
You tossed your tile?
Because I mean, the battery's been dead for years and I've never
Yeah.
once used it.
The original ones were terrible because you couldn't replace the battery. Once it's dead, it was like,
Yeah.
it's dead. Well, a tile is a tracking device. Again, first disposable. When the battery died, you toss it. Then they added replaceable batteries to them, which was kind of
Mhm.
cool. And now they have added more as a competitor to AirTags from Apple. The Bluetooth tracker has different colors, longer range, and an SOS button with a premium account. So, if you have a free account, you're not going to do that. But if you buy a premium account, you'll have an SOS button on it. So if you're in trouble, apparently you'll be able to push this and it will the tracker, but it's cheap, Justin.
I know, but I've got
Show
an
up your
SOS
phone.
button on my phone. Everybody has a phone, so I've got an
Yeah.
SOS on my phone. Just tap it 5 times, it calls the police.
There you go. Well, this company was bought by Life 360 back in 2021 for a lot of money. Then all of a sudden the AirTags became very
Yep.
popular. So they haven't put anything out for a while. So they're putting them out now. I love giving tiles for the holidays. I always did. I always put a tile in my kid's stocking, that whole bit, and it worked out pretty good. So,
So to talk about Life 360 real quick, so my family subscribes to that.
oh, cool.
So like my parents, and it's great. It's a great way to keep track of family members and things like that. It's a great resource to have. You can set up zones. So when I know my parents are coming, which is kind of a nice thing when you know your parents are going to be 15 minutes away, things like that. You can set up all these zones, gates, and stuff. It's nice to know people are showing up at your house when you're not expecting them.
Yeah.
Yes.
But it's a great resource to have. So if you're interested in that type of thing for protecting people in your family or snooping on people, Live 360.
There you go. All right, another quick break. Come back with more of Tech Talk Radio. I'm Andy Taylor.
I'm Shawn DeWeird.
And I'm Justin Lemmy. The score is now 3-746. We'll be right back.
So to wrap up this week's show, we like to talk occasionally about just what we've been playing online, right? Or what games we've been playing. So the two big ones that I've been playing I've been getting caught up in Diablo 4.
Oh,
Because on October 8th, the new expansion for Diablo 4 drops called the Vessel of Hatred. It adds a new character. It's going to be really fun. The other thing is, last week, the new World of Warcraft expansion dropped called The War Within. So there's a new World of Warcraft expansion. You guys know that I've been playing that since 2004. So, of course, I'm playing that. So that's what I've been playing recently. But
I find it so interesting that World of Warcraft is still around after all this time.
And it's still the largest, if not one of the largest MMOs that exist.
Yeah.
Do you think new gamers are jumping into this one, Shawn? Like maybe that never played the franchise before, that are just starting to play games?
So I think at this point it's being carried by the generational gap, right? You have people that played it in their early 20s when it first came out in 2004. Their kids are now into their early 20s because the game is 20 years old. Right. So you have their kids that are playing it. Right. So I think it's a word of mouth game. Right. It's you've played it with your friends in high school. You played it with your friends in college. You played it with your coworkers. Right. It's the community surrounding this game is what drives it. So I think new people. Yeah. But it could be a little intimidating for newer players just because of the depth of, there's so many classes and so many different things you can do in the game. So
I'd feel like a digglehead because I don't know the terms, the characters, that whole bit, but it would be fun to start trying. How about you, Justin? What are you playing?
I am giving Cyberpunk 2077 another spin.
Still?
Well, no, when it came out, it sucked really bad, and I returned the game and I got the refund. But now, after a few years, everybody's saying it is actually finally. It's just like No Man's Sky we talked about in the past. They finally got a chance to finish the game and put that extra coat of polish on it, and it is a really good game. I'm playing that, and I'm also playing War Thunder, which is a free-to-play MMO war simulation where you can be tanks, you can be warships like naval, or you can be air battles.
Oh, nice.
So,
Well, I know we've got some keys that are going to be coming our way, so you guys could try out a couple of games. So maybe we'll be able to report on those next week on the show. In the meantime, hit up our website, hit up our blog. We'll post other stuff on there. You can check out the TV segment where I showed off the Pixel 9. We'll see if I still have it next week.
Yeah.
I'm Andy
Hopefully.
Taylor. Yeah. I'm Andy Taylor.
I'm Shawn DeWeird.
And I'm Justin Lemmy, techtalkradio.com, and check out the blog, blog.techtalkradio.com. We'll see you next week.